For somebody whose main instrument is guitar and whose YouTube channel is mostly about creating guitar tones, I get strangely excited when the fine folks at Toontrack release a new SDX expansion for their incredible Superior Drummer 3, and they've done it again. Now, normally I kind of give you a first look and walkthrough. In this case, I've already looked at this particular SDX. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the just released Area 33 SDX. And I have to say, and I know I sound like a broken record, the folks at Toontrack absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. This is another incredible addition to an already incredible lineup of drum sounds. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's take a look at a whole bunch of things with this. First, what it is, where it was done, who was involved, what drums we get. Then we're going to listen to the sounds, the grooves, and just see what this incredible new expansion pack is capable of. Let's dive right over to the Toontrack website and get started there. All right, so here we are over at the Toontrack website. I always like to come here and sort of take a quick overview look at what we're actually getting. Here's a really cool graphic, Area 33. Into the infinite. So the Area 33 SDX brings together parts of the original drum kit from Hell Team, Meshuggah guitarist Frederick Thordendahl, and producer, engineer, mixer Daniel Bergstrand, who's worked with Behemoth and In Flames. In this joint venture of sourcing, engineering, and ultimately externalizing their very figment of what the most all-encompassing metal-related SDX for Superior Drummer 3 could be, they ended up with an absolute monster. And this is crazy. This is weighing at 180 plus gigabytes of drum sounds. It was recorded at Frederick Thordendahl's personal studio 33 in Stockholm, Sweden. This studio, which Thordendahl and Bergstrand built from the ground up, was designed with the goal of creating the epitome of a drum room, spacious and reverberant, but at the same time profoundly precise, direct, and controlled. And you know, that description right there, I think really sums up the sounds we get here. So what do we get? Well, it says, obviously here was engineered and produced by Frederick Thordendahl and Daniel Bergstrand. I hope I'm pronouncing those names right. My apologies if I'm not. Recorded at 33 Frederick Thordendahl's personal studio in Stockholm, Sweden. It has 7 unique drum kits, 13 snares, 14 bass drums, 42 toms, 3 hi-hats, and upwards of 40 cymbals. Recorded using 11 Ambient microphone positions, of which 7 are in stereo. This is really interesting because I'm going to show you the mixer on this, and at first it can be a little overwhelming, but when you dive in, kind of take it a piece at a time, you realize just how flexible the sounds in this new SDX are, especially with all the options of how we can dial it in with different ambience mics. Really, really killer stuff. As was mentioned, more than 180 gigabytes of sampled drums and cymbals, sampled by drummer Leo Margaret, who plays with the band Pain of Salvation. And it also includes presets, which we're going to take a look at for each kit, engineered by Bergstrand as well as the Toontrack sound design team. If we scroll down the page, it gives us an overview of what Area 33 studio is like. Beautiful room, really great stuff. There's a making of video, but let's take a look at the kits. So we have a classic kit, which is a Ludwig White Cortex 3-ply maple poplar maple. Moving on down, we have the metallic kit, which is a Ludwig chrome over wood 6-ply maple. Continuing down, we have the steel kit, which is another Ludwig stainless steel drum kit. We have the insignia kit, which is a Gretsch USA custom 6-ply maple gum kit. We have the impact kit, and I think that this was one of my favorites in listening to this. And this is a Varus, I believe I'm pronouncing that correct, Power Series 6 to 8-ply chestnut kit. We have the liquid kit, which is a pearl fiberglass shell kit. And we have the red kit, which is a K-Drums Mod B 6-ply maple kit. We also have some additional instruments. If you go over to the website, you can really dive in to detail what we get with this kit. Fine, nobody wants to sit and watch me read the Toontrack website. Let's head over to Superior Drummer and see what this is all about. All right, so here we are over in the Area 33 SDX within Superior Drummer. And I have my favorite kit loaded. I know this is going to be a little off screen. It's always a tricky thing here with my screen capture software, but you can kind of see classic metallic kit, steel kit, all the kits we talked about. I'm set on the impact kit and loving this. Incredible number of symbols. I absolutely have to comment on the graphics. This is one of the nicest graphical user interfaces I've seen. And not that that changes the sound, but it sure is nice to look at while you're working with this. So really, we're not going to go into Superior Drummer 3 here. We've talked about that a million times before. But what do we get? Well, we get the kits we talked about before. We also have these presets. I'm just going to slide this over. You're going to see my little recording over here going on behind. And there's our kits. We also have these presets that are included, as I mentioned before, and we're going to take a close look at those. These are the ones made by Daniel Bergstrand himself, and then Toontrack also gives us a whole list of different presets as well. So if we go to the Grooves tab, as usual, we have an Area 33 MIDI library as well, which has a halftime section, mid-tempo, and up-tempo. Go to halftime swing. We'll preview an original tempo. This is just the default setting of this Impact kit that I like so much. Through the right. The cymbals are really beautiful in this. Series of fills. We have mid-tempo, straight 4/4. As you can see, lots of possibilities. And obviously, we could also use any other MIDI libraries that we have in here. If I go over to Legacy of Rock, for instance, I could use these. They're all going to work equally as well as any others. British Invasion grooves. And this is something I really like to do, is take maybe less obvious grooves that may at first glance not work real well with a particular SDX, but sometimes you get some really cool results. So we have all of that wonderful stuff. Now the mixer is where it gets really, really interesting here. Look at the size of this. So let's pull up a groove here from the Area 33. Let's just grab maybe that particular groove there. We'll drag it down to our timeline. I'm just going to have this loop. We're going to come over to our mixer. And what I'm really interested in is over here, all of these possibilities. Rear mono, rear close, ambient mid mono 1, ambient mid mono 2, ambient far mono, ceiling close, ceiling mid, ceiling away, ceiling far, and garage. Now, you'll notice right now we are listening to this particular preset mixed in with our ceiling close mic. What I'm going to actually do here, though, is I'm going to mute all of these, and we're going to kind of listen through these one at a time to see just how incredible the possibilities are. So first things first, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to enable bleed of all my instruments on all of these so we actually get some sound from them if we solo them. There we have it. So now what I can do is I can kind of come in and solo these out as I play my groove. And you'll hear each of them give us a very unique kind of ambience. Ambient mid mono 1, mono 2, far mono. You here we get a little bit more room sound going there. Some of these sound spectacular just on their own and could be used for drum loops and whatnot. Really, really great stuff. Ceiling mid in stereo now. See, these ones here are mono. Now we're back into stereo. Ceiling away. Ceiling far, more room sound again. And the garage mics. So what's really cool is we could take any one of these and we could, you'll notice I muted the rear mono, but this is giving us that beautiful room sound. But I could come in here and take my garage, add as much or as little of that as I want into the mix. I could also have it just on certain drums. If I didn't want it on my kick, I could disable it on the kick. Put more snare in there. So we just get more ambience on that. Or maybe I just want it on the snare. As you can see, I can go disable it. Disable bleed on all instruments and then just engage it on the snare. Just to give us a little more wetness on the snare alone. Do the same with any one of these. And you can just see how interesting this can get. Put multiples on. Not that I would necessarily suggest that, but you do get the point, and it gives us a lot of possibilities. Instead of going to add, let's say, a reverb to the snare, we could just come in here and use one of the existing ambience modes that we have. Really, really cool stuff. We also have a lot of stereo mics. There's kick drum stereo. So we could create our own little custom mixes here. To solo those tracks out if we want to add them in. So we just see how incredibly flexible this can be. We can tailor this to anything we want. I really think you could get overwhelmed at first by looking at this, but it's really not that bad. We've just got to pick the elements that we want, and we could be there for quite some time if we wanted to really tweak these. Or we could just dive right in and use some of the pre-existing presets that we have. So first thing we're going to do now is, I'm sure everybody's interested in hearing all of the different kits that we have. So first thing I'm going to do is play you a couple grooves, kind of utilizing the whole kit, hi-hats to ride and whatnot, with each of the default settings on each kit. We're going to do that right now. We'll come back after that, and then we'll examine some of the built-in presets. right, so there you have it. Those are our 7 drum kits. Now let's go and take a listen to the included presets that are included from Daniel Bergstrand. And I think what this is going to show you is just how flexible these kits are. We've heard them in their raw state. Now we want to hear how they can be shaped like I was showing you with this very extensive mixer. So here are all of those presets. All right, so what did you guys think? Now I wanted to do something very interesting. I wanted to take a mix I was working on recently. An old demo I did to demonstrate one of my Line 6 Helix Marketplace presets. And this is called the Das Benzene Ultimate preset, which is based around a diesel VH4 amplifier. Really like this. And this little piece I have is kind of a heavy Judas Priest inspired demo, kind of a short piece of music. But I wanted to take some of the presets we just heard and just drop them into my existing mix with no alterations. Now, there has to be a little disclaimer made here in that I don't expect any particular preset that wasn't specifically designed for this song or any song in particular to work perfectly. Obviously, we would want to make tweaks, but I wanted to just drop it in the mix, leave it alone, listen to how it works to see how close a starting point any of these presets could give us to get off and running as quickly as possible. Once we have that preset, then we can come in and we can make the tweaks necessary by adding effects, blending the different mics, blending the different ambience mics that we have at our disposal. So just so we can hear how some of these presets and drums sound in a mix, just as is with no alteration. Here's a couple examples of that. All right, so what did you guys all think? I am blown away. This is another spectacular addition to an already incredible lineup of expansion SDXs for our Superior Drummer 3. I do want to thank the fine folks at Toontrack for sending me this complimentary copy of Area 33 to check out. Very, very kind of them, and this is something I am going to get a lot of use out of. It really is incredible. If you guys are interested, head over to the Toontrack website, grab this and add it to your own Superior Drummer 3 library and get to work. You can be very busy getting some very cool tones out of this. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video. Please share with anybody who you think would get some enjoyment or have some interest in watching this and seeing this great new SDX. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I will be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.